So as we approach the weekend, Tyler, a lot of breaking news that we've seen, especially for fantasy football lineups. We're going to have some tough decisions. So I want to go over like some start, sit type things and talk about players that are probably the most questionable pieces heading to the week. One of those teams this weekend has a lot of those, the Indianapolis Colts. We have quarterback Anthony Richardson, who's been out. We had Flacco in there. Presumably, we're going to see Anthony Richardson take back over at quarterback. At the running back position, Trey Sermon has been banged up. So we have Goodson in the backfield, but it looks like Jonathan Taylor is fully out. Trey Sermon should be the guy for this weekend. Just something to note. We also have the receivers. Josh Downs had missed practice up until Friday. He participated in practice. But we also have the receiver thing we need to look at. And if Michael Pittman is going to be available, he said he is now going to play through a back injury that was supposed to keep him out week to week. Tyler, this Colts team, man, I literally can't even gauge it because there's so many question marks at each position, bro.
Yeah, this is a tough one. And it also just throws on fact, like, obviously we talked about this last time. We would like Josh Downs quite a bit if it was Joe Flacco. We'll see with Anthony Richardson, because last time we saw him was that Pittsburgh game. And in the beginning of the Pittsburgh game, it was just, I think, 1 or 2 series. He was looking decent against a pretty good defense, but it's also a very small sample size. So this, I would say, and it's even tough with like Trey Sermon, because last week him and Goodson basically split snaps. Trey Sermon was right around like 56% of the snaps, and Goodson was right around like 40-something% of the snaps. It was basically a near 50-50 split in terms of snaps. So how I would approach this situation, though, I would say out of all the guys, I'm still going to lean with Anthony Richardson, obviously. Like, if I drafted A Rich, I'm going to be playing A Rich unless I...
You got him top 12 for you? Like, is he still top 10,
he's top 12,
or is he more like top 15 now?
He's top 12 still, because there's a couple quarterbacks. I'm pulling in my rankings right now. I'm going to say he's actually 12.
There's some like tough matchups this week, quarterback wise.
And there's, I want to say it here. I'm pulling up right now. Yeah. So, he's actually 14, because you have Goff. Because I really do like Goff. He gets the Dallas game.
Yep.
That should be a very high scoring game. I really like that one. Kirk Cousins, they get Carolina. So decent one there. And then maybe over CJ Stroud. But the one guy that I have question marks is Josh Allen. But anyways, so I have a Rich borderline quarterback one. I'd still be playing him unless I, drafted, I don't know, Jaden Daniels or something like that. But I'd be playing him. With the wide receiver situation, I mean, I was never very high on Michael Pittman to begin with. He's banged up. He's a low A dot kind of guy. I just don't see him being super viable.
I feel like for Michael Pittman, this feels like they talk about decoy a lot. This feels like a decoy situation, because you can't have just down the field stretch guys and no possession receivers. So even if Michael Pittman does get out there, I have slight concerns that he's going to be as effective, but like I play him. I still play him as like a wide receiver 3. I'm just not anticipating the ceiling's going to be there. Like
it all depends on who you have. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to say. I would say wide receiver 3. Yeah, that's good. And I would honestly say Josh Downs is borderline wide receiver 3, just because Josh Downs, I think he doesn't get the recognition he deserves. I just think he's a very good real life wide receiver. He's able to get open. And him and Pittman are kind of the same, though, in the sense that they're closer to the line of scrimmage, low A dot, are able to do stuff, or like they're kind of the same. So I would say, and then you have Alec Pierce. Alec Pierce is just the ultimate dart throw every single week. Like he continues to produce. He's not always, at some point it's going to stop happening, because there's no way. They said 21 yards per target, like not even receptions, 21 yards per target right now is where he's currently at. So there's no way he's going to be able to be sustainable with that. But
that's crazy.
You have injuries, buys, like he's a dart throw at the flex play. But running backs, I feel okay with Trey Mason, but he also had 6 receptions last week. He had the touchdown that kind of saved him. A Rich, is he actually going to check the ball down 6, give him 6 receptions? So it's tough.
The upside is just too much to bench for Anthony Richardson. So I have actually on my QB rankings for the week, I have him at number 14 too, which says a lot. I told you whenever we agree, it's a good thing. So has the upside, obviously a big floor as well. And then when it comes to the receivers, I'm with you there. I think that Pittman's a 3. I think Josh Downs is like a 3/flex. And then I don't think Alec Pierce is such a tough start, like you mentioned, because of his inconsistency. So I'm with you there on the receivers. When it comes to running back, though, Trey Sermon, like just dealing with the collarbone stuff this week, I think I would rather leave him out of lineups than put him in at flex. And this doesn't really seem to be a great matchup going up against a tough Tennessee defense. So, and even that for Pittman, like going up against L'Jarius Sneed, like this isn't an ideal situation for this defense that's really shut down other opposing offenses. So coming out of the bye, like I just kind of want to stay away from most of the Colts options when it comes to this. If I had to start, I would start Anthony Richardson, feel good about it. I would start Michael Pittman, feel bad about it. I would start Josh Downs only at flex if I felt like I needed upside. If I could get away with not starting them, I would. A.D. Mitchell, I think, is worth a deep league pickup in case we are getting decoyed by Michael Pittman. And then I think Alec Pierce is more of a stay away or trade away.
So would you play Tank Bigsby or Trey Sermon?
I think for the starting workload, I would still play Trey Sermon, but like it's such a tough start for me because you know that Goodson's back there just, you know, ready to eat up at least a few. So I think kind of where I'm at when it comes to like Trey Sermon is around like right after Najee Harris, like right before we get to the more questionable backfields. I think I'm good with them there. And I just, in my head, I know like it's probably a limited ceiling. Like if he gets a touchdown, cool. If not.
And what I'll say about Najee too, I think Najee now it gets interesting there because, I mean, we keep saying it week in, week out, like this is a good play for Najee. Matchup. But Jaylen Warren did practice. So he may be coming back this week too, which kind of throws a wrench. Because I think if he gets him any kind of juice, like I think that there's a real chance that it's just he doesn't take over, but it's a close split between those two in terms of total touches and workload there. So but
it'll get ugly for sure.
Yeah,
I don't know.
So like Trey Sermon, I agree. I actually have him right next to Najee Harris as well. I do have Tank Bigsby ahead of him just because Tank has at least shown us explosiveness over the past few weeks, and he's got that hot hand, and like sometimes you just continue to ride with that hot hand. But yeah, like and then Justice Hill around him as well, and Braylon Allen. So it's
what do you do? What do you do? Obviously, Anthony Richardson dealing with the injury. What do you do if Anthony Richardson doesn't look right though? Like, you know what I mean? Like, because where I'm at is like I know the upside's there. I think we all can admit we know what the upside looks for Anthony Richardson, but we have seen the floor, and the floor is like a 10-point floor, which for most quarterbacks that's like QB2 range. It's just he provides that QB1 ceiling, and it's like, is this a player that we are, especially knowing Pittman's hurt? To me, it seems like a buy low opportunity, and you might even have it after this game. But I think a lot of people are going to be panicking if he does not play well against Tennessee. Like I could see him being either traded, viewed very differently than he will be going into this weekend if he does not perform well against Tennessee this weekend.
I could see him like being one of those players that gets dropped after this week if he doesn't play well. Tough. Just because it's been a while. Like it truly has been a while since. And you know how the fantasy community gets. They're so reactionary in how they approach it. So he could definitely be one of those players that gets dropped. If I had Anthony Richardson, I have him in a couple leagues. I would just hold, even if he has a down week. And sure, you could say buy low because you probably could get him decently cheap. Like if he has a bad week and Jared Goff has a big week, there could be a chance that you could throw in like Jared Goff for a rich, maybe not straight up, but like
depending on the league, somebody might want that.
Yeah, you could honestly do it. So, and that's something that I would personally do. But yeah, I would just hold on to him. The upside's immense, and it's kind of like people. There was a comment. I went live yesterday, and there was a comment. I forget what the exact comment was, but they're laughing because I had Justin Fields at quarterback 5 or something this week, 6 or something, and I was like, bro. He had a terrible game last week, but he still had 15 fantasy points. Yeah. And it's because like these guys are just able to run the football. Even when they have horrible passing stats, they just have this upside that your pocket passers don't, because if they don't have a good passing day, it's like a 3-point week where these guys, their floor is like a 10-point week, which is bad, but it's not as bad as the other guys could have. So I would just hold and we'll see what happens.
It's funny because like that is, even with Richardson, we're talking about him, like how terrible he's looked. He's had like 10 and 12-point games in the bad games. You know,
those are bad games, right?
Like a Kirk or like a Goff. Sometimes thmes are like under 10 points when they have that.
Yes, exactly.